What's the plan?
I'm not going back to West Virginia. I got a sister who lives up near Buffalo, Lackawanna.
You ever visit her before?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Lackawanna. What's up, y'all? Oh, just chilling.
Thanks so much for being here. Let's talk about the Deuce and David Simon and George
Yeah.
Pelicanos and getting on this show. How did it start with an audition for you?
It did. I like to think it started with like magic. I don't know how I ended up on the show. Yeah, I think so. I'm from New Orleans, and I wanted to be on Treme so badly, and I couldn't even get in the room for an audition. And then all of a sudden, I'm like auditioning I couldn't have written a part closer to like what I want to play than Ashley, like a 1970s hooker in New York. I don't think I could have like picked it better.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I went to Catholic school in New Orleans. I'm like, I don't know why the like underbelly of society is really appealing to me. Probably because I went to Catholic school in New Orleans.
I didn't go to Catholic school, but I have that like inclination for the underbelly.
Yeah, like the dirty is beautiful.
Like the dark alley is usually where I walk towards or down, just to see what's there. You know?
Yeah,
I mean that metaphorically and literally.
Yeah. I understand.
Thank you. I need that understanding.
Yeah.
So you go in there and you get the script and you say, "Oh my God, you guys, this is me." And they're like, really?
Not even like a full script. It's just sides. And I actually auditioned for Loretta, which is a part that Seppi Moafi plays. And then they called me.
Which of the women is Loretta?
So Loretta, she is one of Larry Brown's ladies. She's in a few episodes. And I don't know. I just like came back and read the same scene again, and it was very kind of conversational. The scene itself, it's the scene where she's in the diner with Candy, and she's like, I think it's in episode 2 maybe, like, can you cover for me? Can you go shoot this movie for me? And so that was the scene that I read in the audition, and then I got a call like, well, they want you for Ashley. And I was like, who's Ashley, you know? And they were like, don't worry, it's a good thing. And then once I saw, like in the pilot, there's this very emotional scene where Cece cuts me, and I was like, how did they trust that I could do that, acting-wise? And they just did. I don't know how they...
What was it like shooting that scene?
It was so fun. Isn't that weird?
No, not at all. I mean, you're pretending he's a great guy, I bet.
Oh my gosh, he's like the most wonderful, kind, bumbly man. He'd be like, oh, okay, here's my line. Okay, and then we start, and then he's like instantly with his cane, like walking, super cool. I'm like, who is this man?
Well, it's one of those things that like the time that you're spending together on the set is like in between takes is longer than the moment where he's actually supposed to be mean to you.
For sure. And I don't know, it's that weird thing as an actor, you want to be challenged and you want to have to access your dark emotions, so when you get to do that, it's just like very exciting to do. And it was lovely. And I was actually like holding my arm up the whole time. And everyone's like, you don't have to hold your arm up. Like the makeup would be fine. I was like, I'm not putting his arm down. I don't know. It was
I'm working hard for you guys.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the show. I love everybody. I'll do whatever.
I do. I have some buddies on the show that, at that rap party, they showed a blooper reel. And there's all these people being goofy and doing things. And my friend Kayla Foster and I were like, we never joked on set because we were just so like, we got to do a good job,
Really?
Not really, but it was like, we were like, no, we're not doing bloopers because we were so happy to be there.
I mean, this is kind of like
It's my first television job.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
It's a huge television show. It's not just sort of like, I mean, it's David Simon. It's a big prestige opportunity. Yeah.
And once I heard Maggie Gyllenhaal was in it, I was like, well, come on. If I'm not on this show, I'm going to die.
So what kind of research do you do for something like this?
Well,
there's no Deuce anymore. Prostitutes don't really hang out on the street as they used to.
But they still hang out on the street. They do.
West Side, 11th Avenue.
Yeah, I think there's like a stroll in Bushwick as well.
Yeah.
You know it well. Yeah.
Not for those reasons, but like I said, I like dark alleys.
Yeah, yeah.
I ask these
and
questions.
if you find
when I
a couple
meet
ladies down an alley, you know what they're doing there. Um, so, anyway, so when I first went in for a wig like fitting, the the hair designer had this book called Gentlemen of Leisure, and it's by this kind of duo photographer and journalist. It's Susan Hall and Bob Adelman, and they have another book called Ladies of the Night. So once I discovered that book, I saw another book that they had. So Gentlemen of Leisure is a book that from 1971, and it follows this one pimp named Silky and his 4 women, I believe. And the book is all just like amazing pictures from these real life people from 1971 working in the business. And then basically monologues. It's just their name and it's just them talking. So I guess they just got them to open up, recorded what they said, and then just wrote it down word for word in this book. And it was so incredibly insightful for me. It helped me so much because you just have these people talking about themselves and their lives and in a really unguarded way. And then within talking about it, you know, you would hear a woman, you know, they refer to it as their family, and they've got their men, and then there's other women, and there's a hierarchy of, you know, who's the bottom, you know, meaning the top, like the number one lady. And then you would hear other women talking about each other, and they'd be like, I hate her. I hate that girl. You know, but she comes over, I cook her breakfast every morning. You know, it's just like just the family of having to share your man with each other. And
What's interesting about the show is that it never neglects the fact that this is work.
Yeah.
And that these people are around each other all the time. So the general stereotypes that we think of when it comes to pimps or prostitutes aren't always going to be playing themselves out. Like the first time we meet Cece, or not the first time we meet him, but you know, the way that the pilot ends with Cece is he's committing a violent act. But then if you watch a number of episodes of the show, he's also just kind of doing a job and living and working. Granted, it's not a very good, you know, it's not morally, it's not a great job,
Right.
but like he's also just living. And the same thing kind of goes for Ashley. You know, there are moments where she's sad about what's happening, but then there are moments where she's just doing a job and just living.
yeah, and it's interesting what your motivation is for doing that job and why you would work so hard for, you know, to give all of your money to a pimp, your man. Like, I mean, they don't keep any dollars, you know, and it's kind of under the guise that this man will protect them in a way and offer them comfort and is their sort of equal or familiar. You know, there's like no judgment about, you know, what could be a morally reprehensible job, you know, being a sex worker, but your pimp would never judge you for that because you're making all the money, you know? So it's like an interesting dynamic to be in. And, you know, for people who maybe don't have too many other options, and of course there are always a million options, but I think money is like the main motivator for this type of work. They think that like this is where they can make the most money given their skills or their particular attitude about how hard they want to work, even though, you know, having sex with 8 people a night seems like pretty hard work, but maybe to someone it seems like I can do that, you know? So
Do you think? I don't remember if we hear it last night. I feel like we didn't hear it or in any other episode. But why Ashley became a prostitute or how she became a prostitute?
yeah, that's the question. I kind of love. There's a scene with Candy and Harvey. Harvey's the porn producer, and he's like, "I know I'm not supposed to ask this, but why? You know, what got you into this?" And I love that she's just kind of like, you know, and he's like, there are a million different reasons, and he says, "Daddy issues," and she's like, "Yeah, but not in the way that you're thinking. You know, like get your mind out of the gutter."
Well, it's also the idea that any kind of story of why someone did this or what led them to this, it's all different yet all similar,
Yeah.
and none of them really explain the
I
life
kind
that
of
they've
love
fallen
that,
into.
you know, because I think like it is so complex for actual sex workers. I mean, who knows what led them to do this work or what millions of different reasons led them, you know?
Well, like anything, it's a series of events that's harder to
Absolutely.
that takes a longer time to explain than most people,
Yeah,
you know,
like
probably want
why
to.
have you been a bartender for 15 years? It's like the work you got into, the work where you made the most money, and so, you know, and it seemed okay to you to work those hours and do that work. And yeah, I mean, I find like most people in life are the same, you know, whether they're doing sex work or they're the president of the United States or whomever. Sorry, I don't want to talk about him. But I just think like everyone has the same emotions, and given your situation and what life throws at you, I just feel like anyone could do anything and anyone could love anyone, and I just feel like there's so much in people that they can recognize in other people. So
Franco directed
Yeah.
your
Jamie
episode
Franco.
this season. Jimmy Franks.
Jamie Franco.
Jamie
That's my name,
Franco?
Jamie. That's what I call him.
What's it like?
I don't think he knows that, but that's what I call him.
What was it like getting directed by him?
It was amazing, and
It's also a big episode for him and you.
Yeah, we did a lot. We had a few good amount of scenes in that episode. I thought it was really impressive. I'd never worked with an actor who was also directing, and he produces as well. But I found, which I have found a lot with working in this show, that like collaboration is key. Like he would obviously like pre-planning is everything. The shots that you want, and then once you're there, he's just kind of like, okay. You would check the shots after, and we talk about it before. But then when he's acting, and then it kind of, it seemed to me that he really relied a lot on the DP, the cinematographer, director of photography, and the script supervisor to make sure that people are saying their lines right. And what struck me was the amount of trust that he had in the team and the team had in him.
Most directors, when they walk into a TV show, like generally have to have that with the crew, because the crew's there for every episode. The director's, in and out of there. Yeah. What was it? So your scenes with him were with I forget the name sometimes. Frankie, right?
Frankie.
Yeah.
The degenerate gambler brother.
Every time he appears on screen as Frankie, more so than Vince, I giggle and laugh because
I feel the same,
how he plays the character.
Yeah.
Is it the same way when you're acting with him? Is it hard to sort of
keep it together?
Yeah, it's really funny.
It is funny. I don't know. I think he's such a hard worker.
Boys in the Sand, and
I know. That was incredibly fun, that scene, especially the Chris Coy who plays Paul, and it was such a fun day of like goofiness, and there was a lot of ad-libbing of lines of how we were reacting to the movie. So it was a total pleasure, but also, he's also the boss in a way. So, he's directing, and so I don't know. I didn't feel like I couldn't keep it together. I was mostly like, keep it together, woman.
Right, like you said, no outtakes of you,
yeah,
no bloopers.
I was like, usually I'm like, are we ready to go? We good to go? Thank you. I don't know why.
Can I also get you a cup of coffee, Mr. Franco? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Not quite, but I did take a piece of his orange once.
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, why am I taking this person's orange right now? You just do things, you don't know why you do them.
And what about, you get cast on the show, you're working with David Simon. What's that been like?
That's amazing. It's kind of mysterious in a way. They really withhold a lot of information from you as you go along, so you don't get all the scripts at once. It's just episode to episode. I didn't even know if I would be in the next one. It was all like very surprising the whole time. But, it's a gift because the dialogue is so fun to say. The storylines are so intricate, and it's, when you see a script that's just so deliciously what you want to do, it's like, you can't be anything but extremely grateful. That's what I think.
Do you think Ashley has left the business? The episode aired this week, so
right.
We can talk about it. Do you think she's left the business because she was sick of being a sex worker, or do you think it was more because she realizes that Cece doesn't have eyes for her anymore, and it was a lot about sort of basing her life around a man? Because then again, she tries to base it around a man again with Frankie, and that
right.
falls apart very quickly.
Yeah. I think that's a great question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think from the beginning, Ashley is pretty tired, just tired of the lifestyle, tired of the work, which is kind of why Cece's, cuts her in that first episode. He's like, you're too tired to work, get back to work. But I think a lot of Ashley's motivation has been to keep her man happy and successful. And I, as the actress and also as the character, just kept waiting for Cece to redeem himself. I was like, when is he going to give me that bath he promised me? You know, when is he going to be sweet to me again? And he never was. And I kind of expected it the whole time as the actress getting the scripts. Like, why else would Ashley stay?
Yeah.
And then when he never comes back to her with any sort of sweetness or comfort, I think it's just, I mean, you got to take care of yourself. And I'm sure people who work on the streets, I mean, that's like the base. You have to take care of yourself. And it just got to the point where it's like, there's nothing left. It's not going to change. And I think maybe the moment where she says, fuck this, and she leaves the parlor and she goes to the bar, I don't think it was consciously like, I'm not a sex worker anymore. I think it was just like, I'm not taking this today. And, you know, one day at a time. And then through a series of events, through hanging with Frankie and then getting hooked up with Abby, and then Abby giving Ashley that check. I mean, those are all like, when you have like gifts from the universe like that, you have to take it. And I think it's probably really scary to Ashley. It's like, what is next? And where am I mean, I'm going to go live with my sister who we've been out of touch, you know? And
It's clear you have like a somewhat strained relationship with
Yeah.
just because of Lackawanna.
Yeah, lack of wanting to hang with her. And it's like also you have to go and ask for help from, you know, like everything's about how
You
people
have
are
to
going to help
explain
you.
yourself and talk about where you've been and be judged. And,
Yeah.
you know, once you sort of exist, and this happens also in the porn world as well, which is that once you exist sort of in this world that this puritanical society has deemed immoral
Right.
or has cast negative judgment upon, it's really hard for you to go back to a life where they don't do that. And it's the same thing
Right.
for ex-cons as well. I mean,
Exactly.
we treat sex workers a lot of times, be they legal or illegal in many ways, like ex-cons in this country.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's really hard actually for people who've been in porn to get bank loans. Did you know that? That's true.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a scene in Boogie Nights, but it's
How
also
would they
true in
even
real
know?
life. I'm not sure. But they do, people do background checks on you, and you
Right.
have to say what kind of job you have.
Right.
Yeah. But you can be turned down.
Come on, y'all. Get it together.
Give the sex worker a bank
Give
loan.
this sex
Come
worker
on.
alone. Yeah.
Before we go to audience questions, you know, you have another project that you've been working on as
Yeah.
well, right? Talk about this.
Yeah, it's a Hulu show. It comes out early next year called The Looming Tower with Jeff Daniels and Peter Sarsgaard and Bill Camp. And it's based on a book by Lawrence Wright, who also wrote Going Clear. I don't know if y'all seen that, the documentary. So it kind of traces the roots of Al-Qaeda, starting from like the beginnings of radical Islam in the 50s, leading up to 9/11. And the story kind of focuses on the CIA and FBI withholding information from each other, which, you know, contributed to 9/11 in whatever way that it did. So it's super interesting.
Can you talk about who you play?
Yeah, I played Tony Ann Marino, like a super New York FBI agent, kind of based with the CIA. And it's been a total pleasure. It's like beautifully written, another beautifully written show. It's kind of amazing. So,
Did it come after the Deuce, or
yes. Yeah.
do you think it was one of those things where you got the Deuce and then, like, you know?
I don't know, because it wasn't after the Deuce had aired. So I don't know why I got that or how.
Because you're a good actress, because you deserve
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
Let's get some questions from the audience. Who has
Yeah.
a question?
Was it hard to get into the headspace of playing a prostitute, or was that something that came pretty easily to you?
Sex worker.
Super easy. It's kind of like I was saying, I feel like most people are the same. They experience the same emotions. So even though Ashley's job being what it is, I really connected to like her need for CC and the need for comfort and not getting that. So
And the exhaustion.
in the exhaustion, I'm tired, y'all. I am sometimes, but not today. So it was, I don't know what I'm talking
Thankfully.
about. But it wasn't hard. It was pretty instinctual.
I think we have time for one more question from you.
Hey,
Hi. You look fabulous, by the way.
stop it.
What did you
Thank you.
What did you find most difficult about filming in general?
I don't know.
This show or in general altogether?
Yeah, this show.
can I say nothing was difficult because it was so fun? I mean, it was really like it's a dream project. I don't know, sometimes you gotta get up really early and then wait around a lot and then go. I mean, that can be hard. Oh, and the crochet shorts are super uncomfortable to sit in. That was hard too. The costumes were kind of hard, even though they're fabulous. You know? It's funny once you change at the end of the day, you're like, God, it's uncomfortable to wear this crochet.
Did you, when you were shooting the show, were you worried at all about playing a sex worker?
I really wasn't. I feel quite proud of it. I just feel like everyone deserves respect and everyone's stories deserve to be heard because like humans crave storytelling. And yeah, I feel honored to play a sex worker.
When did you find out that what was going to happen to your character was going to happen, or in terms of the episode that aired this week?
Like a week before or something, when I finally got the script. I got little tidbits, and actually I was in the makeup trailer and Maggie Gyllenhaal was there, and she was like, and I was saying something, I was missing New Orleans, I was ready to go. I was like, I want to make a trip, and she's like, you better not go right now. She's like, have you read the script for the next episode? I was like, no. She was like, you got a lot to do, like a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to New Orleans right now. So I kind of like found out then, and then, you know, George Pelecanos gave me a little like, this is what's gonna happen. And then I got the script, so.
And what did you, were you excited for that, or were you like, oh, wait,
So
what do you mean?
excited.
Am I not in episode 8? What
Right,
are you talking about?
right, well, we don't know that. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but, you know, so I was excited, of course. You know, you just want to do the thing.
Jamie, so how many episodes are left of the
One
left this
Yeah,
Sunday
this
coming
Sunday
up?
at 9, the
This
finale.
Sunday at 9
What's
is the
gonna
finale.
happen?
And it has been picked up for a second season,
It
right?
has,
It
yeah.
has.
Mhm.
Exciting.
It's super exciting. And
can't
season
wait.
2, you know, the story starts quite a few years later, so that's exciting to me.
It's the beginning of the obscenity laws going away. And,
Yeah.
and I think in 6 years will be 77, which will be,
Yeah.
as we saw in Boogie Nights, the booming time of the porn industry.
And amazing costumes.
Jamie Neumann, everybody, give it up.
Pleasure, y'all.